Hare Krishna, Shri Radhe.
Hare Krishna.
How is everything?
Oh, it's fantastic. And how
So,
are you doing? Vacations have begun for the children?
no, they are about to start from June end. So, like last
Oh,
week of June, and till September.
oh, wow. That's like a long holiday. You coming to India?
Wish we could. As of now, there are no such plans, but yes, we wish we could really travel to India. So we are starting after 2 weeks. We took a long gap of 2 weeks, and I am sure, like, I don't know about others, but I'm sure, like, my you know memory has faded a little bit. So today, I think it would be good to start with a just short revision of
Right.
what we have done in Enneagram till now, and then we go for the further questions and drilling more. Yeah.
Great. So we will begin. See, we're speaking a little bit broader than Enneagram only. We're speaking about understanding the children, understanding your own nature, understanding your spouse, and then putting all that together, see the dynamics of how the different natures come together. And we spoke about being a good parent is very different from doing things for your children and then having the results that you want to have. They are completely different things. We spoke a lot about it. And then we spoke about the importance of understanding the values of each type. And then we discussed the the triads. The 8, 9, and 1 has anger as their challenge. The 2, 3s, and 4s have guilt and shame as their challenge. And the 5, 6, and 7, they have fear as their challenge. So we spoke about that, how gut, which is the anger, gut is connected, and how heart and the guilt and the shame is connected on the head. See, these principles are very important because to be a good parent, you need to first of all understand yourself, right? We need to figure out what is our strength and weakness, what makes me angry, what makes me afraid as a parent, and what makes me guilty as a parent. I mean, most good parents, I think all good parents, to some or another degree, have some guilt. Oh, I should be a better parent, right? And every parent, to some or another degree, internally or externally, have challenges with anger. And every parent definitely has some sort of fear, right? Fear of parent situation and fear for their children. So there's always these three things. That's a dance of parenting. Maybe that's what we should call our series, dance. Dance of anger, dance of guilt, dance of fear. And then we discussed about the types of moms, how parenting is not black and white, and it's not like a principle that works for everyone, because each of us have our own strength and weakness. We went into the details of what every type of mom does and what's the challenge of every type. Then we spoke about the dads as well, how being even the same type, men, they react differently with
Hmm.
children. Men react differently to family. For instance, let's say the husband is more a heart type. Say he's a type 2. And the type 2 dad will naturally be more caring than most other dads. And if the wife, the other parent, is a type 7, let's say, more the fun loving, and the woman being 7 and the man being 2, is going to be much more. The type 2 will still be masculine in his caring. And the type 7 woman, even though the 7 and the 8 are much more like assertive and strong, still she will have a concern for their child. Let's say the child went to an examination and they heard the child being upset or crying or whatever. Usually, type 7 doesn't worry about it. They're just like, whatever, who cares? But a mother will naturally worry much more than if it was a man. A man who's a 7 will be much more carefree than a woman who's a 7. So there's always a difference. We discussed a little bit about in detail, like type 1, how the idealistic mom, whereas the type 1 dad is a virtuous dad, and how there's a slight differences. So that was very interesting. And the child, we haven't gone to the type of the child yet, because first of all, we need to figure out you guys, meaning the parents, right? What kind of a mom are you? And then what kind of dad are you? First, if you figure out yourself, then it will be easy to handle your child. And unless and until you figure yourself out, your weakness, your strength, you cannot discipline your child, or you cannot give the best to your child. It's not possible to help your child unless you help yourself. You know, in the airplanes, they always tell us first put on your mask and then help your dependents. So the same thing here. And that's why we are giving so much focus to discussing about parents itself. In fact, you know, the whole thing of parenting, if we just become very good devotees, it'll be easy to figure out. But when we say very good devotees, it will be according to your nature. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, we all have specific natures. So again, it's all this thing we are talking about, personality types, natures, Enneagram. It's basically helping each and one of us to become more Krishna conscious, to align to our nature, to align to Krishna's will. And it's not about controlling our child. It's not about, you know, figuring things out so that the child will be materially successful. It's not about forcing our children to do spiritual activities. It's none of that. It's comes down to being a better devotee, being the best version of yourself, so that you can be a better parent for your child. That's what has been the mood. Like 2 weeks ago, we had our session about dads, and then here we are today, and Sulakshana is going to lead us into a very interesting topic.
Yeah. Yes. So I have been talking to so many parents on this Enneagram, and they have been looking at your videos also. And they come up with one common question is how to discipline the child. Understanding this, like understanding that, like mother would not like to shout, but father keeps on shouting. Sometimes it is the other way around. Sometimes it is that the daughter-in-law is struggling with the parenting methods of their in-laws. This is what I come across very often, because they keep on complaining. My father-in-law, he's always pampering. He's always pampering. They don't ask. They don't ask them to switch off the mobile, or they don't ask them to switch off the TV. But I want them to do that, and I want to discipline them. But my father-in-law and mother-in-law, they think like I am a villain. So this is like something that I have been coming up so often. Like it has been coming up so often, and even between the spouses, the mother will say, "Why should I always discipline?" And why you cannot tell the child once for a while, that don't do this, like that. So so sometimes the person who is disciplining, the either of spouse or any of the other family member, the one who is disciplining feels like a villain in the house, and feels like she or he is policing around things, and nobody likes her. Like people start hating her. And some of the women, they because I interact with a lot of women, so I of course know, like I know some women who really feel that guilt inside them when they are actually disciplining. And especially as the season of holidays is like just starting, and this was like one of the very prime question which came up after, the ladies, they saw this enneagram, and even some dads, they saw the video which you and Baliagram Prabhu did, and they were asking, "Yes, sir, theek hai, Mataji, this is all okay." but how to actually discipline, when the child is being cranky. We don't remember your enneagram. We don't remember our nature. We just shout, or we just back answer. Sometimes we are just being rude. So how to control this, and how to understand how to understand the ways of disciplining in regards to this tool that we are now know we are trying to understand.
Mm-hmm. Very, very important. The point about disciplining. See, you brought up three, four different things. I wrote it down so we can go over each one, because it's all like, different aspects, different perspectives. So first of all, this let's start with the last thing that you quoted from somebody who said, and the time on the moment when the kid is misbehaving, and we want to do something about it, right? We want to like fix the situation, we want to discipline the kid, we want to stop the crankiness and get the child to behave and be disciplined. So let's start from that, because it's very practical question. It's true that we cannot, at that point we cannot just say, hey, everybody chill, let's talk about enneagram, right? It's not going to work like that. At the same time, it's very important to accept our limitations before we want to solve the problem. Usually, one of the big patterns that I have seen is, whether it's parenting or whether it's management, whether it's school, whatever job you're doing, we usually give more importance to damage control, or we want to focus on what's urgent and important, right? Or especially, let's say, what's urgent. Let's say the kid is going completely berserk because the kid ate too much sugar. Happens, right? And it's just going completely wild and creating a chaos and not listening to the parents and not not stop watching video games or whatever, just completely out of control. So in that situation, how do we discipline becomes the urgent thing, right? How do I control the kid becomes the urgent thing. So I'm sure most of you might be aware, those of you who are watching, and maybe if you're not, please take a look at this. There's this whole quadrant. This is for purposes of anybody in any position of leadership or management or anything that you want to organize. There's the quadrant. There is things that are urgent. Let me just quickly find that picture as I'm talking. There's the quadrant of urgent, and then there is the urgent important. I think I should show you, because yeah, here I got it. Okay, here it is. Sharing my screen. Here it goes. So these are the four categories: urgent, not urgent, important, not important. Okay, these are the four things. So the quadrant one is things that are urgent and important. So maybe 90% of our life goes there because we just basically focus on what needs to be done here now to control the damage, whatever. So if we're talking about how do I discipline my child, we need to focus on this four quadrants and see, okay, today the child broke the glass and is not listening to you. But is there something as a parent that you neglected that was important but not urgent earlier on? Is there something you can learn so that it doesn't always has to come into the quadrant of urgent? I think especially men tend to give more importance to things that are urgent. And things that are important is something that bothers women more. Oh, what is going to happen? I know one parent who was so worried for her child. Oh, my child is not studying and I don't know how he's going to get into engineering entrance exam, and I'm really worried. And then when the kid came back from school, and I'm like, hey, wait a minute, he's just in second grade. Why are you worried about engineering? That's because females, we tend to think long term, right? If the man says something to you, you already wonder, why did he say that? Probably it's because of this. And we go all the way. Men are exactly the opposite. You have to shake them up and say, hey, you know what? The kitchen is on fire, the house is on fire. Pay attention. Even then, sometimes it's hard to get the attention of the man, but it's the nature of sun and moon. The energy of sun is more masculine. It's more tolerant. It's more, there is more ability to resist difficult situations or whatever. So they wait until things become urgent. Whereas women, we tend to kind of have that intuitional feeling. My child has this issue. Most mothers know. Most mothers, they get a feeling, right? Oh, my child has this problem of insecurity. She's often jealous of her classmates. And then what are you going to do about it? It's obviously not an urgent thing unless she has a breakdown and she's throwing a tantrum in your place, and she threw a cup at you or something, then it becomes urgent. But until then, it's something important you notice, but you don't pay attention. So the point about when we speak about discipline, we need to really take a look at this. How much importance are you giving to things that are not urgent but important? This is where we need to invest in parenting. The key, the secret to successful parenting is in this quadrant, focusing on things that are important but not urgent. Because it's like, usually, take a look, parents. Let's see, okay, how many of us do this? How many of us push our children to study harder just when exams are approaching? Right? That's this category. Urgent and important. Your exams are important and it's urgent. Exam is coming. And how many of us with the same concern help our children in this category when it's not urgent, in the beginning of the term or during the vacation or during the time of the rest of the year? How many of us give the same amount of attention and emphasis to our children, And when I say give, it doesn't just mean, hey, like for example, my mom, I hope my mom doesn't watch this video. She used to constantly, often, especially she used to do that. Study, 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 go and study, go and study. Like from primary to my college days, that was the mantra, right? And it's like, it gets boring, The point is, if it's important, you have to show to your child that it's important. If you want your children to be disciplined, are you disciplined? That's the first question that comes to mind, right? If we want our kids to be disciplined, to be truthful, to be honest, to be whatever it is we want them, we have to take a hard look at ourselves. Are we that? And sometimes it's not only about, oh, I'm very disciplined. You see, I have all my stationery super well organized and my child should do the same thing. No, but for you, your stationery may be the easy thing for you to organize. I'm sorry, I'm saying stationery because I have my stationery here in front of me. So I'm saying, but it could be anything. Your clothes, maybe you may be organized with a certain aspect, but your child may be having trouble with that specific thing. But the point is, are you able to be disciplined about an area of your life that is hard for you? For instance, some of us, few of us, most of us have the problem of criticizing others, okay, or blaming others. How disciplined are you in controlling that habit? Okay, then if we are, then we have some power to tell our children to be disciplined. So what discipline means to your kid doesn't mean the same to you. You as a parent have to be disciplined in your spiritual life. For instance, how good is your sadhana? Did you study Bhagavatam? If you're wanting your child to, hey, study, 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 your parent, who's the Vedas and your guru, asked you to study Shastra. Are you doing it? And are you executing it? Are you like really following what the Shastra says? Why I'm saying this is because it's a very sensitive question. Your kid is out of control, and you just want to know from the counselor or somebody, how do I discipline my kid? But there's so many elements to that. Why is your kid not disciplined? And how good of a teacher are you to really discipline your child? Sometimes you may bend the spoon or the fork or whatever you want to call it on the wrong direction. And then you end up damaging your child instead of helping the child be a confident, successful individual in life. You may be bending your child to be disciplined in a way that is not their nature. So there is no uh, regret. Don't regret if you haven't yet been able to put your child under control, because maybe it's a good thing that you haven't been able to do that. Because if you were successful in disciplining your child the way you think is the best, which may not be the best for the child. So my point is, it's not just, don't just focus on urgent and important and remain there. Learn from your experiences. Try to focus on things that are important. Maybe your child is crying for attention. You never give attention to your child unless they go out of control. And it's a conscious way that the child is seeking attention.
Yeah.
And some other time, and then this will grow, when they grow up and become adults, these issues are going to become huge. So we as parents, it's important for us to figure it out. What is not urgent but important for our child, for our family, because house is only a bricks and furniture. But home consists of people who do things which are important. It's not just, managing, oh, we have a nice looking house and my kid goes to the best school and he gets good grades. That's not the important aspects of life. Important aspects is often so much more deeper and subtle. Do you believe in your child? Do you believe in yourself? And what are your values and principles?
Yeah.
Then you will be able to give that discipline, which is deeper than what you may think. How do I control my kids during vacation? That's all right. That's urgent and important or whatever. It's usually urgent. It's not so important.
Yeah. So Nandji, you said that we should not regret if we have not yet disciplined them, and it is good in a way. So if we talk in terms of the kids who are um, becoming teenagers, like they are passing the phase, because most of most of my kids, like I've seen in this yatra, they're all passing now. We are looking them passing from a small age, now they're slowly progressing to the teenage. So I see that more often. And so when they go to the teenage, the complete dynamics change actually, and still there is a part of discipline there. Now they want to hang out more with their friends, and now they want to do things their way, and they decide what music they want to hear, and they decide what they want to eat, and small small things actually. And then parents make it as a, they want to discipline it, they want to discipline that, no, no, this is not right for you. How can you go hang around with these friends? They are not good for you, uh, that is
Very,
another
very,
aspect of discipline. Yeah.
yeah, very good point, Sulakshana. So there's a huge difference between facilitating a child's growth and controlling and using our power to make the child what we want them to be. There's a huge difference. Let's go to the basics. Your child is not your child. This is a soul somehow Krishna arranged to give under in your care. Okay. And your responsibility is to, Bhagavatam says, Guru na sasyat, Jano na sasyat, Janani na sasyat, Pita na sasyat. Unless and until we are able to help our children to develop spiritual interest and love for Krishna, we should not become parents. We should not become teachers. We shouldn't become mother. We shouldn't become father. It says very strong statement. And so the point is, yes, to help them come closer to Krishna. But then there are so many decisions you have made. Say, whatever, you say you made a decision to go to the Middle East. You made a decision to send your child to a specific kind of a school. These are all decisions that comes with a certain amount of consequence and responsibility, right? This is a particular school which teaches A, B, and C. You know that there are students who is going to be A, B, and C. So don't just let's not just blame the child or try to control the child. Don't go there. Don't do this. Don't. Let's take a step back and see what is our responsibility in putting the child in that situation. Because in the real idealist ideal situation, you put the child in the gurukul, everything is in control or whatever. They have good association, and even in gurukul there can be Kauravas and Pandavas. Okay, so when the Kauravas and Pandavas went into gurukul, because of the kind of teacher Dronacharya was, when they came out of gurukul after their education, actually their character remained the same, exact same, when they went in, when they came out, because the Dronacharya did not actually help the Kauravas and Pandavas form their character. For him, education meant skills. So that's what they came out of the Gurukul with, better skills and powers, and not with character, not with that deep sense of spiritual knowledge. So what happened was, Kauravas, they had a very mean mentality. Why? Because of the genes, call it DNA, call the samskaras of the parents, the desires. The desire with which Dhritarashtra had Duryodhan was all about control and power and envy, right? So when the child was born, it's born with our desires, our samskaras. It's not just, some devata had nothing to do and he popped the child on our head. We are entirely responsible for the kind of child we invited, which reflects our own development. This child is there to help us. It's not just we are serving the child. The child is also helping us to become better individuals.
Yeah.
And so just as Dronacharya, his inability to, or yeah, he wasn't that kind of a guru. Okay, he was more like a martial arts teacher. So Pandavas had the value system of Kunti Devi, of Pandu. So they had much more sattva guna. They were much more accepting. They were very submissive. They were surrendered. They were large-hearted. All those things that came from the parents remained in them. And when they entered the Gurukul, they learned what they needed to learn, right? And the Kauravas, the same thing. They had what the parents had given them. They came into the Gurukul, they got the skills they had. When they left with the exact same character. So as parents, we need to take a look. What is our values? Why did we bring our child to this country or this situation? What did we want? I've seen a lot of parents. I admire them so much for their ability to work hard, earn money for their children, bring their lifestyle to a different status of in the society. I think for them, all this, it's an amazing aspect of doing. Remember the doing aspect. It's great, but then I see them not being responsible that for the decisions. Like I'm thinking of a specific parent who I have a relationship with, and she has children that she wanted them to study in a specific country where the association is quite dangerous. Okay, the kind of movies they watch, the kind of languages the kind of language they use, all that is very risky. She has a dream. My children should be highly educated. I come from a very poor family. We grew up with very little. I don't want my child to do that. I want them to study and I want them to A, B, and C, right? This person has a lot of desire for the child to have very good economic situation. Now, she puts the children in that environment, and now she's facing a lot of challenge with the character development of the child. She's unable to control that because the environment they are in is forming another sort of a character. And she's trying to control this, the kid, especially the teenage one. It's being very hard because it's the fish is already in the pond. It's already having, the child is having its own desires, it's creating its own samskaras, right? And she wants the titles and the education part, the skills part, but she doesn't want the child to get contaminated with other things. But it's a tricky situation, right? It's a package deal. We want to get our kids educated in this world and have a good degree. It comes with a price. And the price is the people they will associate with, the media that they get exposed to. There is no guarantee that they will remain. You know, it's not Dronacharya's Gurukula, that it's only about skills, right?
Yes.
So much more, because there is internet, there is the association. So it's very important to accept that. Accept that I am not in control. I'm not the all powerful one who can pick and choose and say, no, my kid will go like a lotus. It will go in the pond. It will not get touched by any dirty water. And then we'll pluck the lotus, and I'll be so proud that this is my lotus. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. We may have all good intentions that we want that lotus for Krishna. I want this child to be very intelligent, is that. But we put the child in that pond and we are responsible. So it will take a lot of hard work to protect their character, to give that, focusing on what is important, not just what's urgent, not just telling them study, 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 and put so much pressure on them that they will take relief in whatever friends and whatever media, but to be there for the children, to understand your child, to build a relationship with the child, and not just focus on giving them skills, but to tell them that they are valuable even without education of this mundane world. You love them not because of they'll study or win prizes. You love them because they're part of Krishna, and you will love them regardless of whatever they do and they don't do. That will give them a sense of acceptance. And then you give the skills according to the nature. But it requires a lot of maturity on the part of parents to accept we are responsible to put them where we're putting them, to take responsibility for our desires. We have some desires. It's just a fact. We have some material desires. We want our child to be whatever, right? We have that. And that will come at a price. Nothing is free in this world. It's going to come at a price. So are we willing to pay that price? And then the third thing is the detachment and the humility, to understand this is not my child. It's not about to pluck that lotus and show, you see, it's mine. No, the point is to serve that soul so they can become the best version, so that they can serve Krishna. It's not about us. The parenting thing is it's not only about your child choosing a good future. It's about you being a good human being, you being a deep, thoughtful person. That's what is going to give you the power to be a better parent. Don't make it all about your child. Oh, I have to get this child to do that and this, because it looks like you're making it about the child, but the truth is you're making it about yourself, because it's about your priority. But if you can focus more on your character building, meaning what is my priority in life, what do I actually want, and here I really want to make this note, in the small print. When we want our children to be spiritual, it does not just mean forcing them to learn some instrument or learn singing and force them to chant. Or it's not that. It's so much deeper, you know. It's about acceptance. It's about seeing everything as Krishna's plan. You know, it's not just about externally getting them to do spiritual activities. So discipline is a very broad term. We can actually see the physical discipline aspect. We can see the mental discipline, you know, all the, like your own sadhana, your own Bhagavatam study. That's like a mental study, mental discipline aspect. Then there's the character, discipline in our building character. So these are different, let's say, layers of discipline. And if we want to be, I think this is a very good question this particular parent asked. How to? Because it means we are open and willing. Parenting or being a teacher, being a parent is the most humbling experience in the world, because it makes us realize that I'm not in control. No matter how much a person is successful, rich, and powerful, they have 1,000 people under them and a company, and everybody has to dance according to the instruction. When you have your own child and that child doesn't listen to you,
Yeah.
that's the way Krishna shows us. No matter you think you know everything, but becoming a parent, becoming a teacher is when we realize I know nothing. I don't know how to, that's the beauty of parenting. It's not about figuring it out how I can discipline my child, put the child in control, get him to study this, get him to do that, then I've done been a good parent. It's not like that. It doesn't work like that. It's a journey. It's a journey of understanding ourselves, understanding our child, making mistakes, learning from those mistakes. It's a journey. It's not an overnight course which is going to make you a better parent.
But Shri Radhe, like this is really very hard to digest when you are saying this, like be detached and accept yourself and these things it's really hard to digest. I don't know about others. Like it's really the detachment part was really difficult for me to digest. So being detached and being humble, yeah, that's like most difficult things for me to do, I guess, as of time. So what I feel is the world is so competitive. So not only competitive on the terms of kids, like the kids already face a lot of competition. Do this, do that, do this, and prove yourself. We have this Enneagram type also, where this achievements matter the most. And there I see a lot of competition in terms of parenting also. No, no, I am a good parent. I am a good parent, and it looks like the person who is controlling the most and giving a lot of skills to the child is considered to be, oh, you are such a good parent. And I mean, I know it's not of value to me, but the parents who are not yet there and they are building character, like they are more into character building, they are more into developing, and they sometimes feel, oh, we are nowhere, like it gives a feeling to you that, oh, you're not doing this for your child. And like it happens with me quite often, and they will ask, you don't want your child to learn mridanga, no harmonium, she cannot sing. And so I'm like, oh, she sings, but she sings for us. Like when we do videos, she is very happy singing, and I know she sings, and I don't need any guarantee for that or any competition for that to prove me that my child sings. But it becomes so competitive that some parents, they just give in to this competition. They just think like, oh, why, it's getting too much judgmental, and they just think that, let me push my child this way, maybe the child can learn. And I feel so sad when I see sometimes some parents, they just do something which is just opposite to their nature. The child is more, active and would be very interested in doing dramas and role plays and, very enthusiastic. And the parent is saying, no, 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 you should learn harmonium. And this child is thinking, oh my God, what's happening with me? because the child cannot sit patiently to learn that instrument. It requires a lot of patience. And the kids tell me, my Mataji, my mother wants me to do this. I don't want to do this. Can you please tell her I don't want to do this? And I feel so sad for the child that, okay, I'll talk to your mother.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is like very difficult to digest at some point of time because of the pressure from outside.
Yeah, very, very good point. Fortunately, in your family, nobody is a three, but the type three or a eight, they are the, that kind of aggressive competition, they're trying to prove to the world that my family and my decisions are the best. That kind of, see, it may look attractive to have a lot of medals and to have a lot of things in your house, but the truth is, there's nothing more painful than feeling dependent on other people's validation or achievements to make me feel worthy. Okay,
Hmm.
it's very sad. People who think that, uh, yeah, I have a student. By nature, she's not supposed to be competitive, etc. But the parents make her feel that she is worthy as much as her achievements, you know and they don't know what they're doing. I mean, I see this kid, I see that potential, I see the spiritual thing, I see the struggle of the kid doesn't know what's going on, right? But the parents, the one of the parent is type 3. So for the one of this parent, achievement is everything, because in his life he's so focused on achievement. And then the mother is another type. She's like, oh, get everything done perfectly, so everybody should look that we have a very, very perfect everything. And what they're forgetting is, they're forgetting that they are making the child feel, how do you call it, worthless without her achievements. And so the child is always anxious, always nervous to try to prove. She's always so talkative. Instead of, she attempts to look good, and then she ends up looking very bad, because the parents have never made her feel that, you know what, we don't care about the competition. You're fine as you are. You don't like doing this, it's fine, you do this what you like to do, we're proud of you anyway. But the kids, they can feel when you're really proud and when you're actually embarrassed about them. So like that, this kid is like, um constantly trying to compete and trying, this child's nature is not academic. The child's nature is not into competitions, but it's trying its best, it's trying very, very, very hard. But in the process, she's getting more and more damaged, because the parent has the expectation, you have to, we are ashamed of you the way you are, so you have to, that's not the way. Because that's the parent's problem, it's not the child's problem. She's totally fine, the child is completely fine as she is. Her nature is, she's a type 6. Okay, she's the type which is cautious about security, but then they're pushing her so much that she's going to the unhealthy direction of trying to be like a 3, which the parent is. And it's very unhealthy for a 6 to become competitive and to speak always about themselves. So it's actually causing so much stress on the child. And I mean, I don't want to get too much into the details, but this kid is on antidepressants, and she's not even in middle school.
Oh.
Okay, so that level of anxiety it can take. So please don't pressure your children to be something they're not, you know. And if you have a problem with their level of achievement or success, it's your problem. It's not the problem of the child. It's your character defect. You need to, I mean, a hypothetical you.
Yeah.
We need to figure it out. We need to figure it out. Is, it's a very, very bad world. This world doesn't make sense. All these value systems of oh, the more title you have, the more money you have, the more status you have, you're somebody, otherwise you're not. It's all so false. It's all so delusional. And it's actually taking us away from that purpose of life, of finding joy, finding satisfaction, peace, harmony in relationships, right? It's robbing us from the joy of family life because of our competitive mindset. Instead of feeling the happiness of helping each other as a family, being together as family, we are becoming so focused about these, really evil principles of the mundane world of competition and proving to the world that you're something. It's getting in the way, and the families are becoming apart. People, within the family, they're hating each other. And this can happen uh, in a normal family. This can happen because of outside society and expectations and association that can be the bricks. But in a dysfunctional family, within the family itself, one parent thinks one thing, another thinks another thing, and the evil is right inside.
Hmm.
Not even the outside world, but it's one of us who are not proud about who the other is, or what your spouse is, or what your child is. So it all goes down to our character building, our spiritual development. And that's where the crux, the core, the heart of parenting is about what do we value the most? Is it character building? Or is it the skills and the status and the position and the fame or whatever, popularity or acceptance of society? We will never feel accepted by the society if we don't feel accepted by ourselves.
Yeah.
So another thing you brought up, it was connected. You brought up the three different things. Mm, the thing about we need to be in the association of people who are working towards its spiritual acceptance, working towards its character building. And the more we associate with people who value more achievements, we're going to feel insecure. We
Hmm.
will feel, why my child is, oh, it's true. It can creep in. It's Maya, right? It's illusion. It can creep into our head and like, oh, maybe I should also be a parent like that, push my child to get A, B, and C, right?
Yeah.
It comes. That's why association is very important. And it's very important to understand the differences of nature. If you have a child who's a type 4, achievements are not their point. They want to live their life. They value individuality, creativity. Do you want your child to be happy, or you just want your child to run after acceptance of the society, which can change overnight?
Hmm.
Right? The society today will say, oh, what, your child wants to be an artist? Oh, how are they going to survive? And
Yeah.
then tomorrow, if that same artistic work makes you super famous and you have 3 million followers on Instagram, and then the same society will just worship you, right? And then the next day you get into some internet scandal, and somebody tries to defame you on Instagram, and then the same 3 million followers will turn against you. So, are you talking about that kind of acceptance? Are you talking about that kind of success? That's what you want your child to focus on? You may not say, I don't want social media. I just want them to have a good job and a lot of money. But the world is, when you say good job, good fame, good money, it's all connected to these fluctuating things. What will remain is that internal character, like the Pandavas, right? When they were in the forest, they were kicked out, right? They didn't have money, they didn't have those soft beds, they didn't have servants, they didn't have the finest of the ingredients to eat good food. But what they had was the character. They had the quality of satisfaction, gratitude, humility, acceptance. And they were actually happy even in the forest. They were happy. Why? Because they were together, they were a family, they were home, they had a home under a tree in the forest.
Hmm.
And they got skills that humanity cannot compete with. Each of the brothers got skills that are superhuman, right? So the point is, if you have character, skills will be like that. But if you don't have character, Duryodhan was sitting in the palace. The guy was freaking out every single night. He couldn't sleep. He was constantly worried. He was thinking what the Pandavas are plotting. So the guy who was in the palace was suffering. He was miserable. He was unsatisfied, as always. He was never happy with the money or the property that he had or the power he had. He wanted more, right? The disease of the more. Your child gets 70%. You want the child to get more, right?
Yes.
Next time you think like that, think of Duryodhan. What is that more? Like
Yeah.
somehow you've struggled and got your kid to get 90%. What you expect? More. Next time I want him to study another course. I want her to compete in another level. And then I wanted to get into a company. So the more, the disease of the more is going to make us miserable. So when I say detachment, it's actually a blessing. If we can just accept our children as they are, if we can just accept ourselves as we are, life is going to be so much more easier.
Yeah.
All that struggle is not for success. All that struggle is Duryodhana's struggle. In the palace, he has everything, but he's miserable. Why? Because he didn't have the character. And what happened? Because he was so miserable, he didn't get the skills like the Pandavas got. He was scheming, he was trying to get army, he even got the Narayani Sena from Krishna, right? He had the army having, right? The have. He had the army. He was doing alliances, but he wasn't being strong, being patient, being grateful. None of that. But Pandavas, opposite, they didn't have a kingdom, they didn't have alliances, they were in the forest, right? But they were being good people, they were being strong, they were being devotional, they were being austere, they were being disciplined. And from that came the doing and having. Right? They had victory. Why? Because they focused on being. So if we want to have good children, good disciplined children, that's what is our topic today. We're going all over Kurukshetra war to get there. But the point is, if we want disciplined children, then we need to go into the being, being a good parent, not just doing and having, but focusing on that, being a good parent, looking at ourselves, focusing on those qualities of satisfaction, acceptance, responsibility. That's the hardest one as teachers and students, right?
Yeah.
Taking responsibility. It's because of me as well. Not see, there's a difference between this is especially for type 2s, 3s, and 4s. Taking responsibility is very different from feeling guilty. This is very different. As a parent, we may feel guilty. Oh, maybe I'm doing something wrong. That's why my child doesn't want to play instruments. No, taking responsibility means taking responsibility that I have this child because I had a specific consciousness during my conception, during my pregnancy, and I have a specific karma to attract this child. And the child has a specific karma to be what she needs to be, what he needs to be. You see, life gets really simple when there's acceptance.
Yes.
But we try to like manipulate ourselves and our children because we want to fit in the society, we want to show off to others, we are worried, we are afraid that the god who takes care of elephants in the forest who don't have any bank balance, they get food every single day sumptuously, we worry what's going to happen to my child if it doesn't become an engineer or a doctor or whatever the new trend is, what the child is going to do. We become worried, right? We become afraid. And then we make big mistakes that cost so much on our children's happiness. Instead of allowing them to be the best version of themselves, we turn them into individuals who are, insecure and afraid and constantly worried. So let's take a moment and think, what are we doing with our children? Are we really helping them build character? Or are we just pushing them into this big bad world of um, superfluous, temporary value systems which are based on just external looks and appearances of achievement and success, and internally it's shallow. There's this beautiful picture. Let me see if I can find that. I should show that to you if I find it.
While you're looking for this picture, I just remembered one game that we play about being. So sometimes we don't know about our children, and children don't know about us, what we like. So we play a game in our family which is called this and that. So we generally give two choices, and like my daughter may ask me sandals or chappals. So I will say chappals. So she next step. So chappals are barefoot. I say barefoot. So just finding out what they like, and what's the best thing that suits them.
Yes, so nice. Okay, I found this picture. Let me show you this. You see, we have to see what kind of a parent are we. There are two little rabbits. Which rabbit are you? Right? That's the question. So this is maybe it may appear like this parent may appear like too not ambitious, not focused on externally showing off about scores and flashing titles and prizes and learning how many instruments that your child know, right? This parent looks like somebody who is working on character development, working on spiritual values. And this parent looks like somebody who's like, hey, get the scores. My child is, can play harmonium, can sing, can play sports, and she's good at everything, like the parent is very proud of its harvest. But what is underneath? What kind of a child are we actually cultivating, and what kind of a success are we really talking about? So I really like this picture, because this is something I'm going in my own life. I'm going through a phase of life where I'm trying to reevaluate my whatever career success, because I could be investing in whatever it is, writing books and traveling and doing seminars and charging people, doing readings, counseling, whatever the thing that may look successful, right? Have an awesome website, all that. This could be on this area right here. But or I could be focusing on improving my skills, which means, like, it's been quite a while now I haven't posted on my social media, and it's been a while now I have been saying no to give classes, because I'm focusing on something else which is important for me, my sadhana, things that are nobody will see me doing it. It's something that I'm doing. But I am working on cultivating a carrot that's underground, that one day when Krishna wants, he will use me as an instrument, and success will come like the Pandavas. Look at this and imagine. This is Duryodhana, right? This is Duryodhana showing off. I have Narayani Sena, I have this and that. And this is the Pandavas. They're under a tree, exiled in the forest with the tree barks, and sleeping on the bare floor and have no property whatsoever. But what they're actually doing is building character, building relationships with devatas, and doing austerities. Nobody can see it. So I think I'm so grateful to Lakshana that we're doing this series, because it's, and for me as a teacher, as an auntie to different children I have, one of them is just waiting for me at the door. I have these very important relationship with children in my life, and I'm constantly helping parents who are close to me understand their children, understand themselves. And I just feel so happy we're doing this series, because it's bringing up these issues. And I want to say that it's Krishna is telling me we need association of like-minded individuals. The more we talk amongst parents who value this instead of this, we will create a community of individuals who will have this children. Otherwise, we will become all about us. My child is going to do this and my child that. And then we become a community of individuals, and that the carrot is very weak. It's hardly any. We push children to show a successful face, whereas they are weak in their character, they're weak in their values. And I am very grateful that we are talking about this, and if it's not helping anybody else, it's helping me to think about these things. And I'm so proud of you also, Sulakshana, that you are a parent who can discriminate between the social fluff, the superficial things that make us feel like, oh my God, what am I doing? I'm not making my child into the best child they can be because of things people talk about. You're able to discriminate that with, no, I want her to be happy. I want her to be like, successful. This is success.
Yes.
Success.
I don't know, Shri Radhe, but I am just on the journey of discovering myself. And when I am looking inside myself, I now see everything with a different perspective. What I was seeing, I think, 3 years back or 2 years back. So I just think that when I start discovering myself, I discover things about my family. And so, like you said, who is learning? I don't know. You are learning. You said I am learning in this session, and I'm sure there are parents who will learn a lot from this. Now my group is really excited to, and they're waiting for the next videos always.
I think it would be really interesting to get whoever is watching with us to get you also to come and join us so we can have a discussion which is more practical,
Sure,
because
sure.
when we are discussing, we are a little bit on the principle level, on the theory level. But I think if you guys also come in, if you can also join us, then we can have practical life situations, and then we can see how to have solutions which are based on that being, and how to balance the urgent and important on those things which are important but not urgent.
Yeah, wonderful. So I think there was a question of mother-in-law and father-in-law disciplining. So I think we can
Oh
do
yeah,
that in the next session.
I have so much to say about it because I was raised by my grandfather, and my
Uh-huh.
mom, she still has, I think, she has so much regrets and resentment and things. But I want to speak as the child who was uh, given that. I want to speak about growing up as in a joint family and what kind of impact that had, and how our karma gets mixed when we are in a family. We can't control things. It's not anymore just me or my parent. The karma becomes all mixed, and how to balance that. I mean, any family, when we marry somebody, we get entwined with their karma. When we have a child, the child changes our karma, right? A lot of changes happen when a child is born. The father gets a raise, or the economic situation changes.
Yeah.
The child, in Hindi we say, dane dane pe likha hai khane wale ka naam.
Yeah.
Each of us, we are born with our own karma. So it's not that our parents are responsible in the way we usually think to give economic stability or all the education. It's a lot to do with our own individual karma. It's not just, or we think, oh, I'm in control. If I only keep my grandparents away, if only I keep my other spouse who has weird ideas away, then my child is going to become better. It doesn't work like that. That's the point of life. That's the beauty of life. There are flavors and there are colors and there's so much mixing of things.
Yeah.
So yeah, we will talk about that next time.
I'm
I
excited. I'm excited. And in fact, I would like my daughter also to join because she is very close to her grandfather. and let me see if I can get her. If her exams get over, and she will be able to join us. So yeah, so she would
I,
be really happy to discuss with you more on this actually.
yeah, I mean, so far it's been more like me answering such specific things. Me basically is like a lecture. It would be nice we can organize like once in a month we can have the lecture thing, and once in a month we can have the panel. We can have the teenagers or kids coming in. I can have my kids here to come in also. Be in the show. Yeah, I'd love to do that.
Sure. So we'll plan accordingly. Next time, surely I will have some parents here, and you can answer them on. They still have some questions on discipline. So yeah, I will call them. I will invite them.
I want to introduce you to come here, come here. This is Gaurangi. Stand up, please. Stand up, stand up. Show your pretty face. This is Gaurangi.
Hare Krishna.
She would be like a awesome person to also do like an interview, like talk about another time. She is Gopal girl. She really loves Bal Gopal, and right now we're gonna do some painting project and all that. Um,
Wonderful. I want you to adopt my daughter, Shri Radhe.
I think she already calls me Masi, right?
Yeah, she addresses you as Masi because she's like she was telling that you go wherever on the vacation you want to go, and I go to my Masi because she has called me.
Right. Yeah, I have this connection with her, definitely. So yeah, we should have her on the show, okay? Definitely.
Yeah, if not now, but I'm sure she has vacations like July, August, and she would love to do. And we have many other kids like her,
This
which I
part we
call they
can
are
cut,
my
right?
kids.
This part we can cut from YouTube. We don't
Yeah,
need
yeah,
to.
yeah. I'll okay. Let's just say the thank you note, and then I'll cut so that Prabhu can edit. Actually, he'll cut the
Oh, okay. Oh, we can
between.
keep it. Maybe we can keep it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay. So thank you everyone for joining in today, and thank you Sri Radhe for enlightening us on this journey of disciplining and dance of parenting. Yeah, that is how we call it. Yeah. You want to have some last words?
Um, I would just say everything you are doing right now, everything you are hoping for your children, especially the positive ones, Krishna will empower that. And don't regret or resent any of your past things. As long as you want the best for your child, everything is fine. So stay positive and let's keep praying for inspiration. Let's come together and see how we can build a community based on love and acceptance.
Wonderful note. And yeah, so with this, we see you again next week. Till then, please enjoy this session and don't mind commenting down. And if you'd like to come on the show, let us know, and we are very happy to have you here. Hare Krishna.
Krishna, thank you.